Hello, my divine creatrixes. I wanted to come on today and share really interesting kind of tip, recommendation, download, very important information because I guess you'll see why. So as you guys are hopping on with me, I want to see if I can see comments. So I'm literally commenting myself because it has been giving me a really hard time when I go live in the Alchemy Alliance Inner Circle group. And so I want to make sure that I can actually see comments for anyone who might be hopping on live with me. I know I have really tripped up the algorithm because I've not been live in this group in quite some time. So as you hop on, can you please say hi? And then if I'm not responding back and saying, hi, I see you, can you please let me know that you're not seeing? Nope. Okay, I just put it up on my computer and no comments yet. I have no idea why that has started being a thing, but here we are. I can look at them on my computer, and I will do that. So forgive me as I'm looking back and forth. Hello, Laura. How are you? Hi, Amanda. We're here. Hi, Autumn. All right, perfect. So as you guys just come on, just say hi. Let me know that you're here. So I wanted to talk a little bit about signs. Okay, I feel like signs are one of those things where a lot of people don't really know how to utilize them properly, and they can easily get a little off track with them. So we're going to discuss that and go through a little bit of feedback on, oh, let me turn on my beautiful lights. There we go. Go back through the process of what it's like to ask for signs, why should you ask for signs, and when you should not ask for signs, okay? So signs and synchronicities, those are something that a lot of times happen organically. They happen, they're out there. You'll see number patterns, number sequences. You'll see maybe different symbols, different things like that. And you'll just notice them often, like maybe the same name over and over again. These are called synchronicities. And we see those things, and it's usually spirit trying to communicate with us. Most of the time, those that we haven't put any type of intention into or anything like that, those are typically kind of like your guides and your angels saying hi, we're here. We're just kind of letting you know. We're letting you know that you are supported. We're letting you know that we are here for you. We're letting you know that, okay? So that's kind of the typical reason why you would start seeing that. A lot of times when people go through awakenings and they start having those activations, they're going to notice the number codes. That's a big one first. A lot of times it's the 1111, maybe 222, 444, 555, 666 sometimes, and that'll start getting some people that are awakening from a Christian background. That'll definitely get their attention. They'll start to think that they're being stalked by a demon or something, but I make a joke because it is funny. But we'll start noticing the number sequences first. What those number sequences are they are actually activation codes. When you start seeing those sequences happening and you're starting to become aware of them, because let's be real, every day, twice a day, the clock reads 1111. Every day, twice a day, the clock is going to read 222, 333, 444. So it's when we start noticing it, that means that we're starting to awaken and wake up from the matrix. We're starting to pull out. We're starting to get kind of look around, and we're what's going on here? Why am I starting to notice this? And then as we start noticing them, then we get those activations. So it's the more we see that number, something starts getting activated in the brain. It's activating a program that has been latent in our DNA, waiting for us to be awake enough to start registering this and to start actively being open to the communication. How many of you guys who are live with me right now can say that that was kind of like their first thing that they started noticing when they were awakening, were those number sequences? You were seeing those things, and that was kind of like, and that probably happened for a couple of years before you really like started making progress through your journey and kind of like taking those stepping stones. I always see 11, 11, 12, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's another one. Always see 8, 8, 8, 3, 3, 3, 7, 7. Right. So it's like, those were kind of like the things that it's like, yep, that's what we started noticing first, right? Those were the activations. And as we started seeing it more and more, we're like, okay, something's going on here. And then we start seeing other things, like other symbols, maybe the same name over and over again, like different things like that. And we're like, what is happening? And what that is it's almost like, for anyone who actually watched the movie The Matrix and they show like deja vu and they're like, oh, it's a glitch in the Matrix. What it is, when we start to see the same thing over and over again, like that repetition, it's kind of the same concept where it's like, there's a break in the program now. So instead of you going through it, like just, I'm going through this and I'm not even like paying much attention to it. And I'm just, here for it. Once that starts to break apart and release, we start noticing these little things and we're like, what is happening with this? Okay. So that's a big part of it. That's a big part of the just general awakening for us in our spiritual journey, in our spiritual activation. Okay. So that's that. A lot of people will come to me and they'd be like, I keep seeing this number. What does it mean? And all I say is, it means you're waking up. It means that you're being activated. It just means that you have started your spiritual awakening and you're being awakened from the Matrix. Like, that's what that means. Now, we can also take it to the next level and start making it more deliberate. We can start saying, okay, I want 222 to mean XYZ. So guides and angels, please show me this number. And the more often I see it, the more I know I'm supported in this way. For me, I've asked for feathers. So feathers are a symbol that I'm on the right path and I'm being supported and I'm like, everything is working out exactly how it's supposed to be. So when I find feathers, that's the message I receive. Or when I randomly am walking and there's a feather there, I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you for that kind reminder that even though things are seeming a little bit, maybe not so great right now, it's still a reminder that it's exactly where I'm supposed to be on my path. And it helps me feel very, very supported and loved by the universe and my guides and angels. So that's something that we can take as like an active role in our experience, is to start like asking for signs, asking for these and putting a special meaning to them. Has anyone ever started doing that or trying that and have like something where it's like, whenever you see that, you know that it means XYZ. Like, it's like, this has a special meaning to me and this is what that meaning is. This is what that means for me. And it helps you feel divinely supported on your path. I feel like that's a really, really helpful way to connect with our guides and angels, especially if we're new to this journey and we're like, well, I don't even know, like, how do I do that? How do I connect? How do I communicate in this way? We do that by asking, right? We ask for these symbols. We ask for these signs and things like that. Now, here's where we don't want to ask for signs. So let's kind of go into this, because this is very, very important, and it can easily like derail us if we're not very clear. Okay, this is, it's like super important. Like, sit up in your seat and like really like, okay, I'm listening, because this is something that I have discovered personally. And as I tuned in and was like, what? But I got the sign, and it was like, no, you didn't. So let's talk about this. What are things to ask for signs with, and what are things for not? Signs to ask for are general, okay? General, I'm being supported. You're on the right path. You're saying hello. Different things like that. That is what we want to ask for signs for, okay? Things that we don't want to ask for signs for, and then I will tell you why. Very important. We don't want to ask for signs for things for confirmation. So if there's something that we have been wanting, we are not going to ask for a sign for that. We have to utilize our intuition. We have to tune in and tap into our own inner knowing and follow that guidance. Why? Because we are very, very powerful manifestors. And if there is something that we want to see bad enough, we will manifest that into our own experience ourself. And that is what is called a false sign. It is a false sign that we have created, that we have projected into our experience so that something will fit a narrative that we have been wanting it to fit. We probably do this a lot. And I think that anyone who's going to watch the replay on this, or maybe anyone on the live, I don't know, but a lot of times with like a relationship or with maybe a job or something that we really want, or even like trying to buy a house where it's like, this is something I really, really want. And so I'm going to ask for a sign. And then because we want this thing, and this is the way we have already decided in our brain that this is how our desire is going to play out, we will manifest that sign. And then later we're going to be like, what the fuck? Like, what happened here? I don't understand. And it's like things just blow up in our face. And we're like, I am so confused. I got a sign. And it's like, yeah, boo, you did, but that's because you created the sign because you wanted it, instead of being in flow and allowing for the universe to bring this together and to show you. We do this a lot with our manifesting. We put it out and we have a desire for something so strongly that right when we think we're like, oh, this might be it, we try to then force it. We try to force it into place, and we will try to force, the signs. We will try to force really anything and everything we can to make it align with this reality that we are so desperately wanting to experience and to call into our experience and to see, have, touch, hold, all of that. But what happens is when we get out of that space, this is what mixed signals are. This is where those mixed signals come from, where we're so confused. We're like, I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on here. I'm having a sign, but then this isn't going for the way that I thought. My gut is kind of telling me something. Like, what exactly is happening here? So when we start seeing mixed signals for feedback with something, that's when we need to go back and check our own energy, check into our gut and say, okay, what is really going on here? What is really being manifested here into my experience? Because a lot of times it's going to be because we manifested the sign because it was what we wanted, instead of having that patience to take that step back and say, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to allow the universe to move for me. I'm going to allow my guides and angels to take this active step for me. I'm going to allow this to be created into my reality in the way that's for my highest good. Instead, we sit there, we've done it. Who else has done this? I know y'all have. We have all done it. Where there's something that we really wanted to experience, and then we think, we're like, I think this is it. So we're just like, we just jump in, we like go at it, and then we're like, why isn't this working? Like, why isn't this happening? like, what is wrong? Like, I'm so confused. Why is this not working out for me? Why is this not happening? Why is it not unfolding the way I thought it would? What is going on here? And it's because we forced or tried to force the manifestation and tried to project our will over a circumstance that was trying to show us, hey, you're close, but your vibration still isn't quite there. So that's what those situations will do. They'll come in and show us that you're really, really close, but it's not quite a match here. So let's keep working on your vibration. Let's keep working on that focus. Versus we see it and we think, oh, this is close enough, right? And then we're at it. We're going after it. We're trying to like hammer it down. We're like, yes, this is happening for me. This is like, here it is. And then it blows up in our face and we're like, what the happened? Like, I so lost, so confused, so hurt, so disappointed. I thought it was all going to work out for me. I thought this was it. I thought this was going to be whatever. And then it's not. And then we're hurt and confused, right? So that's why that happens. That's where that's coming from, is that energy of trying to assert, trying to control. Currently did that to myself. Yeah, we do it. I've been learning that hard recently, not to force things. Yeah, we have to let it flow. We have to allow and be open for it, because when we try to force something and it's not the right thing, that other thing is going to push back. They're gonna feel that energy. They're gonna feel that intense. Even if you're like, I don't feel like I did anything wrong, or I don't feel like there was a problem. Whatever is on the other side of that, they are going to feel that, and they're going to get very like, what the hell is happening here? I'm like, why are you trying to like push me into something or force me into something when it's not right? That's not their role in your life. They were supposed to come in to show you that you are close, but not quite there. And so instead of asking, oh, show me the sign, and then force manifesting it into your reality, we can instead be like, okay, I'm just going to allow this to happen. I'm just going to be open and wait and allow it to happen. And I'm going to continue to do my healing work, continue to do the work that I need to do that is sacred and important to me. And I will continue on that and wait to see how things go. I'm so impatient with working on it. It's so hard to, I know, I'm guilty of it too, guys. And these are lessons that I learn, and then I have to tune in and I'm like, okay, what is the lesson here? And then I share it. So things that I teach about are things that I have experienced, and I had to take that step and say, okay, like what happened here? Show me what happened here. And I meet with my guides and they explain it to me, and they walk me through this, and I'm like, well, shit, okay. This has happened to me recently, where there was a situation where I was so sure, because I had seen, there were signs, right? And they were signs that I asked for and wanted to see. And sure enough, I manifested those bitches. Like, I manifested, it was like sign after sign after sign. I was like, I want to see these signs. So I am going to manifest them into my reality, because I wanted this thing to be what I wanted it to be. And even though, I will be honest, even though there was a part of me in my gut, in my belly gut, that knew truth, that was like, this is not, it's not it. And so then I would be like, but I saw, like, but I'm seeing signs. And then, it's like, then we go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And that's when we know, if we're going back and forth and we're confused and we are really just trying to like figure this out, we're like, this is hard. That's when we know something, it's not it. Like, something's off, something's wrong here. It should not be hard. If this is something for us and designed for us, then this is something that it would just like flow, right? It just goes, instead of like trying to force it in. Do y'all remember when we were kids and we used to play with those things where it was like, it had little shapes and the holes matched the shapes? So it's like you try to put a triangle into the circle, like clearly it won't go. It might be the shape, like it might be a shape. So it's like, cool, you got close enough to get a shape, but it wasn't the right shape. So take a look at that and be like, oh yeah, that's not feeling right. And then just accept that. Accept, okay, that doesn't feel right. Instead of us trying to like force and make it, because as we're shoving it, eventually that triangle is going to be like, bitch, what are you doing? This is not working. And there's going to be some drama and problems, and that's going to be on an individual basis with like people. It's going to be the same thing if you're wanting like a house, a dream job, something like that. If you're thinking, oh, you know, this could be my dream job, but something's just not sitting right, and you're like, oh, that's fine. I'm just going to, like, I got the sign, I'm going to go, and then you're there and you're like, Jesus, I'm more miserable at this job than I was at the other one. Like, what did I do wrong? Same thing with the house. Like, why is this house? Like, what's going on with this? I had a sign. And it's like, well, honey, it's because you wanted the house. And so you manifested that sign so that it would align with your desire, because that's what you wanted. But it wasn't what's quite in alignment and what was actually meant for you. Is this making sense? Does anyone have any questions for me on this? This is really, really important. I need to get better at going live in here, because the algorithm, I know it's like, who's that? What's going on? Because this is such an important, like, so important for us to understand and really get through and to figure out. Because when we ask for those signs, when it's something that we're trying to manifest, like, we will also manifest the signs, because we don't have any resistance to the signs, right? We want those so bad. That's what we're seeking and looking for. We will have no problem manifesting those into our reality. None at all, because there's no resistance at all to it, because we're like, yeah, this is exactly what I want, so I'm going to keep, like, I am looking for it. I mean, how often have we done that? Or like, I expect this sign, and we look everywhere, we're like, is that it? Like, could that be it? And, you know, in that, like, painting, is that enough of a, yep, that's my sign right there. You know, we will find it. We will make it happen. So this is why we have to decide, like, when we're looking for confirmation that something is right for us, that has to be a belly gut check. That has to be in here where we tune in and say, does this feel right? Is this easy? If it's not easy, if it's confusing, if it's not feeling like it's flowing well, it's not right. And please, please, Divine Creatrix, please do not try to force it, because all you will do with that is cause yourself heartache, grief, drama, and set yourself back in your experience. So if it's not feeling good, if it's not, when you're like checking in and you're like, it just doesn't feel quite right. It's being too hard. It's being too, like, there's too much resistance here. There's something off. If it is something that's for us, it will be natural. It will happen, like, organically. It will flow. It will just happen, versus us trying to make it happen. So hopefully that helps. I'm like looking at comments over here. So easy to see others doing it, but so hard to catch ourselves. It is very hard to catch ourselves. And that's why it's important for us to build a network of other wise women, of friends, our soul tribe, because in that community, we can find others that we can trust, and we can kind of bounce this stuff off of them, ask for feedback, ask, you know, to talk and say, you know, hey, this is what's happening. And unfortunately, like, they're probably going to tell us something that we don't want to hear. And that's something that we're going to have to learn to be open to, and to say, okay, not for me, and that's fine. I will continue to do my work and wait because I want peace in my life. Prioritize peace over everything else, y'all. I'm telling you, prioritize your peace, because that's your vibration and that affects what comes into your experience. So if you're in this space and it doesn't feel good, it feels weird, something's off, trust that and let it go. Okay? Thank you guys for hopping on with me live. If you watch the replay, please hashtag replay. Let me know your thoughts on this, and I will talk to you guys soon. Namaste.